Welcome into NHL Tonight, first shift for a Monday, December 2nd, 2024. EJ Raddick alongside my guy, Kevin Weeks. It's December.
Oh, I can't believe it. It's flying. I can't even believe it.
It is flying.
It's so nuts.
We got to do the Canadians and Rangers for the NHL Network showcase.
We did indeed.
Another good game.
It was a
right
very
down to
good
the wire.
game. Absolutely. Very entertaining game. I thought Montreal really handled themselves very well in that game.
Yeah.
Patient. They didn't chase the game. They didn't have to cheat for any of the structure. Montembeault played well.
Yeah.
Goal Caulfield is flying,
yeah.
but that was a much-needed win for the Rangers.
Oh, boy.
Remember we were
talking about it. They've been high alert. They lost at home to Montreal, but they win late. Kakko scored. They had 3 power play goals out of the 4, so the power play was clicking. Rangers play tonight against the Devils. We'll talk about that in a bit. I wanted to, make note here behind us. We have a couple of really special jackets. It's from the FE, is the official licensee for all 32 NHL teams, and they are doing this special Legends of the Game collection. And you can see we have Gretzky and Solani back there. There's 20 legends that are part of this collection. I mean, Gordie Howe, Makita, Messier, Gretz, Beliveau, Dion. I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, 20 legit legends. The Rocket, Rocket Richard is in this group as well.
Amazing.
And you can see the jackets front and back. We're going to kind of show them to you here on the screen. And just really, really terrific stuff. Fans can get them out there. You can check fe-apparel.com and check out what they have. They have a lot of high-end fan gear for NHL fans. And just a slick look there. And, here's the other thing we see. They're collectible, these particular jackets.
Right.
They only made 99 of each of their Legends jackets.
I love that even more.
Yeah.
I love them, but I love the fact that they're that exclusive.
Yeah.
With a limited run, limited production run.
Collectible, right?
100%. And for fans, they can't get enough. And we all can't get enough in the game. They want to consume the game in different ways. And everybody loves gear.
That's true.
Everybody loves gear.
Do.
Everybody loves gear, and all the fans love to represent their favorite teams and their favorite players and are very into collectibles. So I think these are gorgeous. They did a great job. Props to you for bringing those in here. Those are fire.
Yeah, and again, FE Apparel, feapparel.com. You can see Dash there and check it out. And later, these are reversible jackets too. For me, as an older guy, I like the flip.
Me too.
Maybe before the show ends, I'll grab the Solani and put the reverse on just to give you an idea what it looks
Model
like.
it for them a little bit.
Give a little model for you there.
Model it up for them.
Thanks to the people with FE for reaching out to us, and fans can check it out there. But some really, really high-end jackets there and fan gear. All right, let's get to first things first, Weeks.
Sure, let's go.
Let's get to it.
Let's
and
rock.
How about Auston Matthews back in the mix? Finally. He missed almost a full month. You can see it there. November the 3rd, he went out. He comes back on the last day of November, and he has 2 assists as the Toronto Maple Leafs continue a very impressive season. And they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-3 down in Tampa on Saturday night. So good to see the big boy.
Yes, great to see him back.
out there.
Absolutely. Good to see Matt's back. One of the best players on the planet, best goal scorer on the planet. Nice to see him healthy enough to be back in the lineup with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the good thing, too, is, like I said, I love the way the Leafs played in his absence. And now that he's back, we know he's the best goal scorer alive right now. Not named Ovi, of course, based on what Ovi's done over his career.
Yeah.
But for Auston Matthews, getting a couple assists, trying to play a 200-foot game, which he's committed to the last few years, he doesn't need to force to get his looks, and they don't need to force to get the puck to him either. He'll acclimate just fine.
It was a strange time with Matthews out because the Leafs did very well. They were 7-2 in the 9 games.
Yes.
But it was odd because their power play, which had been dreadful for the first month of the season, just found its way after Matthews went out. Some things we can't explain in this sport.
Sure.
We'll see. I'm sure that as they move forward, Matthews will be a big part of that with that great shot, that great release that he has. But Matthew Nyes came back. He got a couple of points, too. Mitch Marner, in a contract year, not bothering Mitch Marner at all.
Oh, no.
He's just saying, let's go.
Oh, he can hear the cheese grater.
Let's go. He had 2 more. He had 2 more points, playing really well. So the Leafs, it's been a good start.
It's been a good start for the Leafs. All season long, they've gotten really good goaltending, too.
Yeah. Joseph Woll the other night, 38 out of 41 the other night against Tampa. He was awesome.
And I think he's 4-1 against Tampa in Tampa. He's got like a crazy record against them over the course of his young career. So that's a great sign. The goaltending's been really good. But they've had some different injuries in their group. But that, to me, was a huge win for them. Yeah. And Craig Berube and the staff, they're trying to have these guys play a different game. And in certain respects, to this point, they have. To their credit, they've made some nice adjustments kind of building on the foundation they had from Sheldon Keefe as well. So I like what I've seen from the Leafs so far.
Yeah, you're right. They have had a bunch of injuries. Hope to get some guys back. Party's over now because they had a stretch week. See, 3 games in 13 days. I mean, how many times during regular season you have 3 games in 13 days?
That's rare.
Right? So that party is over, including that game against Tampa. 16 games in 32 days to the end of the calendar year. So they're going to be busy, but the Leafs are playing well.
Yeah.
And right now they've got to deal with or look at the Florida Panthers, who kind of leapfrogged them back into first place in the division. Now Toronto has played 2 fewer games, but you can see it here. The Panthers in their last 3. Oh, by the way, knocked off the Leafs 5-1. The Hurricanes in Carolina 6-3, and then back at home a 6-0 spanking of the Canes. So I mean, to outscore the Hurricanes in 2 straight games, 12-3. Boy, that's a statement.
It's a statement. And you were over in Finland.
Yes, I was.
With Florida and Dallas, right? For the Global Series over in Tampere, Finland. And I spoke to Paul Maurice, my old head coach of the Florida Panthers. And I asked him, I said, hey, what's the latest with your group? He said, you know what? You know I love our group, but we're just a little bit bogged down. We were a little bogged down. You know, we loved that trip. We wanted to make good on that trip for our Finnish players and for the fans and for the league. We felt we were a little foggy since the trip. We were a little tired, but we're starting to get our mojo back. Hey, those are huge wins.
Yeah.
Huge. And you said very rarely can people outscore Carolina and certainly just handle them.
Yeah.
Because they are a Stanley Cup contending team as well.
Yeah.
And Paul Maurice did that against his former club with Florida. They absolutely walloped them in both games. So I'm curious to see how the Panthers continue their little run right now, Weege, to your point.
And, you know, to be fair to Carolina, I mean, they're missing their top 2 goalies, right? Anderson's out for months. Kochetkov's out for a while now. Spencer Martin has been asked to come in here. You know, it's tough when you're playing the number 3 goalie in games like this.
You're right. And Weege, this is exactly why. If I'm the Canes, and we had Eric Tulsky on the show.
Yeah.
He was a great guest.
We did.
And we love the team and what they built, and they're a Stanley Cup contender. You know I've been a Freddie Anderson's guy since he was in Anaheim. Forget even when he came to Toronto.
Yeah.
The challenge is he had some of the injuries, and when he's in, he's top shelf when he's in, but he's had some injuries. They know that he's out for about 8 to 12 weeks now with this latest injury with the surgery. Pyotr Kochetkov, the youngster, who I think is really good as well, but he's been nicked up with injury. I know that he started skating.
Yeah.
They've got to get insurance, and I don't mean inexpensive insurance.
Yeah.
They need to really insure the position because they are a Stanley Cup contending team. And I know they were looking at the market. We talked about this right here last week, kind of evaluating their options. But at some point, to me, for Eric Tulsky and the Canes, this is a big opportunity to go out and get a goalie that's healthy, that can help them right now, so that's no longer a problem for them.
Hard, though. I mean, the good ones, you know, you can't get them. That's simple as that. John Gibson. Well, listen, the thing about John Gibson is he's never given us any indication that he wants to leave Anaheim, right? And it is beautiful Southern California.
It is. It's beautiful
Orange County. It's very lovely there.
Elvis Merzlikins
is
in the building. He's playing well this year.
Playing very well this year.
Playing well
this year.
What?
The Columbus Blue Jackets are also playing very well this year.
That's fair.
Maybe less interested in moving Merzlikins right now.
Fair.
That's why when we talk, right?
That's fair.
You only get guys when they're a distressed asset in some way. Like last year, you probably could have got Merzlikins and taken a shot, right? Right now, he's playing well. The Jackets are playing well. They're probably not interested in moving him. Last year, might have been a different story. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Apparently, I believe that Kochetkov was at practice today. So that's really good news because he got really hammered behind the net. Looked like he was out. Looked like he got knocked unconscious.
Ironically, that game against Columbus.
Yeah, there you go.
He was reaching
behind the net. Yeah. So hopefully he's going to be okay. But, you know, for Carolina, a tough weekend. But for the Florida Panthers, and they just always, no matter who it is, whenever they play Dallas, those 2 games, they won both. Carolina, 2 games, they win both games. I mean, when they are faced with the tougher teams in this league, they understand the challenges. They fell off against losing to Chicago, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But when they get the tough teams around them, they find ways to win those games.
They do, and that really is a testament to their ability to raise their level, is what you're saying. Yeah. They can raise their level. They know they're the standard. Everybody's going to give them a game. Yeah. You've been in the Cup final the last 2 years, and you're the defending Cup champs. Everybody's looking. You circle the calendar when you're playing them, so you're typically going to get the best game from the opposition, typically. But one thing about the Florida Panthers for me is, yes, it's their versatility, but what I like is they can bring the games into the swamp.
Yeah.
Down there in Florida. And you know who's down there? The Gators are down there.
Yeah.
They can bring them into the little swamps and force opposing teams like Carolina, that's so fast, that's so dynamic, that attack with that speed, force them to play a bit of a slower game, but also force them to play a harder game than they might be accustomed to.
Yeah, they just, it's funny. I liken it to tennis. They just keep hitting the ball over the net.
Yeah.
They just keep hitting it back in. They dump it in. They make it hard. Bennett is hitting you, banging into you. Kachuk is starting trouble. Barkov is so hard to deal with. Forsling on the back end. I mean, this is why they won the Stanley Cup last year. We'll have to watch and see what Bill Zito decides to do as the team gets closer to the trade deadline.
Right.
Because obviously I expect them to try to add a piece or two.
Sure.
As they've done every year. Really,
For sure.
Billy's been there. Let's talk about goalies. You mentioned guys, good deals, right? How about your old buddy Jimmy Rutherford?
Oh,
he found another
Jimmy.
goalie.
Yeah.
Old pal. He found another goalie.
He found another one.
Kevin Lankinen has been really good. I mean, let's face it, Demko has not played at all this year. Shelovs has really struggled. But look at Lankinen, particularly on the road. I mean, home, not so great, but, they haven't been good at home, period. But look at on the road. Rinksy, why is a goal? I mean, again, you probably have no really definitive answer for this, but, I mean, that's dramatically different.
Well, you don't have to worry about how you're getting to the rink. You don't have to worry about the fact that you just moved from Nashville to Vancouver. What's it like getting to the building, all the different logistics? Do you have an apartment? Do you not? What's that like getting settled? Go on the road, be in the hotel, go to dinner or order room service, which is my jam, and just focus and go out there and kick. To me, like you kind of alleviate some of those other things. And I've been a Kevin Lankinen guy since Chicago because I think Chicago did a really good job with him in helping him develop into an NHL goalie. So props to the Blackhawks.
Played well in Nashville.
He was very good in that. Hold on, thank you. Whoa, hold on.
Hold on.
I would have loved to see him stay there in Nashville because unless you were making a path for Askarov.
Yeah.
And then they ended up trading Askarov due to his request, which we understand. I broke the story. I understand it.
Yeah.
But all of that to say, Lankinen, that was a good duo with Lankinen and his countrymen.
Yeah.
And they're best of friends. They had good chemistry, two Finns. Anyway, what a find for And, okay, a lot of the other teams that needed a goalie had a chance to.
That's right.
He was out there.
He was out there.
He was out there
floating around.
Oh,
and
man.
he's played well in international play, too, for Finland.
Yes.
Well, I wonder if he will have earned a spot into the Four Nations now. I mean, Saros will be their starter, but you wonder they're going to take three goalies. Maybe he's one of them.
I don't know how he can't
No other goalie in NHL history has
done that. He made league history.
Yeah, first goalie in league history to go 10-0 on the road to start his
That's
time
amazing.
there. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I love his first name, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kevin. Wise guy. All right, let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we got the 3 stars of the month. It was a crazy month. Check with us. We'll tell you who was the cream of the crop next on First Shift. It is time now for the 3 stars of the month presented by Geico. And take a look right here. The number 3 star, Connor Hellebuck. Number 2, Mikko Rantanen. And the number 1 star, Marty Necas, who's had a terrific first part of the year. Let's start with the goalie, Weeksy. One of my favorite headshots. Connor Hellebuck with that look on his face.
Yeah.
But, he's got that look on his face for shooters, too. And they've fallen off a little bit after that unbelievable start. Sure. I mean, nobody wins every game. But he continues to be just terrific for for the Winnipeg Jets and probably for Team USA at the Four Nations.
Yeah, I'd like to think he'll be the starter for Team USA, at least going into the tournament for Four Nations. He's been great up in Winnipeg. .931 save percentage over the month. Wow. It's crazy at any time. But let alone, especially this early in the season, he's already been cooking right out of the gate. So 8-2-0, 2.10, 2 shutouts in the month. It's been a great month for him. Great season for him. Reigning Vezina Trophy winner.
And all I say about it is let's try to find rest for him. If you're Scott Arniel in that group, try to find rest. I just think if you can get him to 52, 53 games, because especially with having to play for Team USA in February, it's going to be a lot on his plate. You want him fresh for the playoffs. That's when they're going to need him the most.
It's interesting, Yves, that you mentioned that, especially now. There's so much talk about games played and things of that nature. In 4 of my NHL seasons, I played 50 games or more. And in the minors, I think I did 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
It's a grind. It's a grind to play as a true number 1. That's a lot of games. You put a lot of pressure on yourself for the team, your teammates, for the fans, for the organization. So, yes, especially playing in the West, If they can get him some breaks, I love that point. It'll make a big difference, I think, for them once postseason comes around.
Yeah, because he, like the Jets, he has not really been great in the playoffs. And part of that is that he has been overworked.
Absolutely.
So, and sometimes the player wants it, but the management, the coaches, you got to pull him back a little bit.
Right.
So we'll see. Keep an eye on that. But a great month in November.
It's been
certainly
awesome
for Connor Hellebuck. Let's talk about Mikko Rantanen from the Avalanche. Contract still not signed. No extension yet. I'm sure they're working on it as we speak in Colorado. But look at the month for Mr. Rantanen. 19 points, 11 goals. I mean, he's been really, him and Nate Carr, they've been carrying this team that's had some struggles.
They have. A lot of minutes played. He can impact the game in so many different ways offensively. He's big. Listen, the great Mark Messier, his nickname is the Moose for obvious reason. But this is the new Moose on the scene, as they call him, because he's a very big man in himself. In Rantanen, big, powerful, heavy on the stick. Can't knock him off the puck. He can bull his way to the net, to spots. Very skilled. And as you talked about, that contract is looming. And I'm pretty curious to see what that'll look like, whether he resigns in Colorado or if he gets to the market. And if he gets to the market, it would be even more than he would have gotten in Colorado.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it'll be interesting, right? Because not too many of these megastars in our league, at least, get to the market.
That's right.
Just seems because the teams obviously they want to keep these players within their group, and they do everything they can, and they have an extra year to offer, right? If you go to market, you can only get 7 years. If you stay with your team, you get 8 years. So that's an advantage. But it'll be very interesting.
Very
not done yet. So
not done yet.
Yeah. And all right, let's look at the number one star of the month, Marty Necas. Last year, that was a big discussion about him.
Yes.
And he signed like a 2-year bridge contract, and boy, they've got to be thrilled in Carolina. I mean, I've always loved Marty Necas. Look at the numbers for the month: 22 points in the 15 games. Leading the league in scoring in different parts of over the last several weeks. I mean, he has just been dynamic.
Marty Necas really jumped off the page for me at the Stadium Series at Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh a few years ago when they played Washington and beat them 5-0, if I'm not mistaken.
I was there.
You were there?
And he was electric.
Electric.
Yeah.
He was literally skating above the ice. He was flying in that game. And that's when I really saw, I've done a bunch of their games, but seeing him up close in that specific game, I was like, no, this guy's got something extra. There's something here. He's unlocking all that potential. We spoke to him on the NHL Network earlier this year. And if you see that board we showed, he's only playing 18.25 minutes of ice time a game. Time on ice. It's not like he's in the 20s or the mid-20s.
There it is again,
To have that production, that's super impressive and great to see. Great to see, and I stand corrected, that game was 4-1, that Stadium Series game. I said 5-0 or 5-1, but 4-1.
It could have been 8-0.
It could have been.
It seemed like they dominated
them in that game. But that's when he burst on the scene for me, and he's taken his game to a whole different level. He's been awesome down there for Rod Brindamore and the Canes.
No question about it. So those are your 3 stars for the month, presented by Geico. We have a 4th star of the month, an NHL fan. Take a look.
Thanks, brother. How you been, man?
Each month, Geico and the NHL are finding the most devoted fan that gives more to their team. They are the Fan Advantage. Alongside the NHL's 3 stars, we're introducing the NHL 4th Star, presented by Geico.
Hi, I'm Tony Elatis. I'm NHL's 4th Star of the Month, presented by Geico. Geico gives you more. Let's go! When I walk into this building, everything else melts away. The way I impact the fans here is they always know that I'm doing something fun. I love this! If I see someone that's cold, I'll give them a hand warmer. I make people feel welcome. I always hand out my card because I want people to know that I'm a super fan and I want people to root for the Capitals. I love this, man. This is so much fun. Fan Advantage from Geico to me means that we are involved. We are part of the team. Are you ready? Are you ready? For me to be the 4th star, I'm thrilled. I bring the joy that I have for this team, and I extend it to the rest of the people.
That's a great initiative by Geico. And Tony is bringing the energy.
Tony is bringing the heat.
And let's face it, he's got an easy job right now. Because the Washington Capitals, 17-6-1, right? They're a +32 on the season. They scored 101 goals. They're pumping in goals left and right. I mean, only like early last year and the year before, they were one of the teams that had trouble scoring. Not this year.
Not this year. Best team in the East so far. Best record in the Eastern Conference at this point in the season. And they have arrived. And you got to give a lot of credit to their front office group, but me, especially the coaching staff. My goodness, Spencer Carberry, Mitch Love, the whole staff.
Scotty Allen.
Scotty Allen. I mean, they've all done yeoman's. And let's not forget the fact that they've won back-to-back AHL Calder Cups.
Yep. With
Hershey.
The Hershey Bears.
Hershey Bears
exactly
are the AHL
right.
team. So the Washington Capitals have been a great story. The goaltending has been great. Logan Thompson, Lindgren, up and down the lineup, with and without the grade 8.
Yeah.
They've been awesome.
Even their fans are getting honored
Even
now.
Tony.
Even Tony.
Tony's even
Bring
getting
it,
honored.
baby.
That a boy, Tone.
Bring it, Tony. All right, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the games tonight, in particular, Rangers and the Devils tonight at MSG. We'll talk about that one next on First Shift.
Three Stars of the Month is presented by Geico. Switch and save. Get more with Geico.
Tonight at MSG, it's the Rangers and the Devils. You can see a season comparison board right there. Devils played a few more games than everybody else. They started the season in Prague, and everybody hasn't kind of caught up yet. But you can see the Devils, they've been scoring goals, better on defense this year. The power play's been excellent. Penalty killing's okay. Rangers, their power play got going again on Saturday against Montreal with the 3 power play goals. And this is the first meeting of these two teams since last year in the regular season. It was April the 4th when things got nasty.
A little nastiness.
Yeah, a little nasty.
Like
You remember?
my dad says.
A little nastiness. Matt Rempe, part of the Rangers at that time, took a couple of Devils out. They took exception. They made a deal.
Yes.
Getting some bigger guns. And,
Yes.
And so right off the hop, you had a big full brawl in that game. Last year, the Rangers, they won the President's Trophy. They swept the Devils. Here it is. This is last year. And away we go!
Away we go.
And there's McDermott who just comes over.
Yeah, that's once they brought McDermott into the rotation.
Miller and Marino. There's Rempe slugging it out with McDermott.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody thrown right out of the game. See ya. That was crazy that night.
That was nuts that night.
There's little Panger talking in between.
Yeah, there's Panger trying to bridge the gap.
Travis Green, then the coach of the Devils, and Peter Laviolette exchanging words. Ooh. That was nasty.
Hey.
Brought me back to to the 80s. 70s and 80s.
Okay, you're predating me a touch.
Yeah.
You're predating because I came in the early mid-90s.
Yeah,
like when I came.
Yeah.
But this brings me back.
You missed a lot of good stuff.
For sure. But we had a lot of good stuff, though, in our time.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Because playing on both sides of this Battle of the Hudson and living in the area and playing for both teams, this is appointment viewing. And these are the games that you have to get. You're hyped for these games. Doesn't matter if you're a Devil or if you're a Ranger. You're saying everybody's watching. It's for bragging rights here in the area.
Yep.
Battle of the Hudson River. These games were always intense, and they are always intense. And I think the Rempire State Building could be back in the lineup tonight for the Rangers, perhaps.
Really? I had not heard that. I had not heard. Well, it's going to be on the NHL Network outside of the local markets here in New York. That would be quite a
That'd be unreal.
Statement. That'd be
unreal. Him and McDermott maybe again.
Yeah, well, if he's in, McDermott would be in.
Yeah,
he's been down in Hartford, so we'll have to double check on that before we go off. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. For the Devils, it was a bad year last year. Like I said, they lost all 4 games to the Rangers. They want to make a and they, the year before. Remember, the year before that, they took the Rangers out in the playoffs. Lost the first 2 games in Jersey, won 4 of the next 5 to win in 7, and won 2 of the 3 games at MSG. Jack Hughes and those young guys, they like going across the river because it's their chance. And again, you played on both sides.
Yes.
When you're on the Devil's side, you like going to the city.
Of course.
And sticking it to them, right?
Of course. Yes, because everything, listen, Rangers Original 6,
yeah, we
all respect
big market.
The pedigree, big money. So for the Devils, you're saying, okay, we're going to come put on a show. And the Devils are back.
Yeah.
They're having themselves a whale of a season. Special teams are great. Jack Hughes, Bratt. We can go up and down. Nico, he sure is balling for the Devils this year.
Yes,
all that to say, for the Rangers, we know they had a tough snide, lost 5 straight until our showcase game on Saturday.
We brought them back.
We helped out with it.
We pumped some life into them.
We gave them the bump. We gave them the bump. But they're a Stanley Cup contending team. Make no mistake about it. So this sets up to be a really huge game tonight at the Garden. But Montreal gave them a game here each.
Hey, they rallied from 2 goals down in the third, tied it up, and it was only in the last 25 seconds that Capo Caco ended up scoring that power play goal off a great play by Will Cooley. Look at that.
What a play by Cooley.
Very calm under pressure. He is emerging this year in his second year
Got that right.
as a really an important player for the Rangers. Watch
Put him
50
up on the first
again,
line.
right here. Just very casual, gets it over to Caco. Playing the other day, exactly, with Hedl is back. And Hedl and Kreider came back in for the Rangers, so that's helpful for them. And they did have Hedl centering the first line with Panarin and Cooley. So we'll see if Peter Laviolette continues down that path. But should be a very entertaining game, and we got it, as I said, right here on the NHL
These
Network.
are the games that get the buzz each, where everybody's talking just up the road at the junction, at the train station. Everybody, Devils, Rangers, Devils, Rangers. Then you get into Penn Station. People are going. These are the ones that bring the fans deeper into the game. The passion level, the passion meter just gets turned up for these. And the same with the players. I can tell you firsthand. And us in the business.
Yeah,
Same thing.
there you go. And I'll give you a little tip. You know, we have the jackets from FE today. They're having those guys, they're having a show over at the NHL store.
Oh, nice.
Which is in Hudson Yards.
Hudson
so
Yards,
if you're going to the game tonight, 3 to 6, so it's, it's already been started, but if you're over there before 6 o'clock, go over to the NHL store in Hudson Yards, check it out.
Nice.
The guys you know are there, Marty Brodeur and Mike Richter.
Oh, two of my boys.
So there you go.
Yes.
So that'll be going on over at the NHL
goats
store.
there.
And then you walk across the newly renovated Penn Station, get over to the Garden, and check out the Rangers and the Devils tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Sure. Okay. We're into December now, so we're into a couple months in. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. I know who my answers are. I think they'll be the same, but who do you think? Let's start in the East.
Okay.
Who's been surprising, impressive, like a good upbeat? Who is the team for you in the East?
Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
The Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
What
amazing, right?
It's unreal. These guys had a negative goal differential last year and still find a way to grind their way to make a playoff spot, by the way. And now this year, you look at their plus minus the goal differential, it's through the roof. I think it's plus 30. North of plus 30 in terms
plus
of...
Plus 32 right
now. There we
now.
go. I mean, that sounds like the temperature back down in Miami or Barbados or wherever. But, yeah, Dylan Strome has hit his stride there in Washington. Connor McMichael is elevated his game. Alexei Protas, Chikrin has been a great fit. Logan Thompson has been a great fit. Ovi's injured. Oh, by the way, Ovi back on the ice.
Yeah, getting closer.
Ovi back on the ice.
Yeah, getting closer.
So that's a great sign, but...
And look at this, goals by defensemen.
It's amazing.
Right? I mean, they had 20 all of last year in the 82-game season. This year, they have 16. And
I think Chikrin has 7, right?
Yeah, Chikrin is got the 7. Carlson is another guy. Sandin is playing well. So Sandin, I mean, they're getting contributions from everybody, and even with Ovechkin out of the lineup, just keep rolling.
This is when I knew that a lot of it, to this point, was for real, is what was going to happen in the absence of the great 8 with his injury. And the Washington Capitals kept ticking. And another thing about Washington, which I give them a lot of credit for too, it's easy to win games when you're front running. Yeah. But it's another thing to have to grind your way, comeback wins on the road. We just saw them in that game against the Islanders, for example. And we've seen this
rallied to win,
and Chikrin ends up scoring the goal in overtime.
Hall held off the Devils the other night.
That's right.
So, I mean, these are the games you got to win in your division. And the only thing I'd say is I'm looking at these shooting percentages, man. They're high.
Yeah, you think they're?
And we'll go back to a little regression to the mean.
The lots. You're going to do the lots.
Brian Lott.
The regression to the
mean. I mean, could take place at some point, but I mean, some high-end shooting numbers right now. But it's been amazing. I mean,
it has.
They're leading I believe they were leading in 5-on-5 goals. I mean. Not what I thought.
Let me tell you this. I spoke to a couple members of that team today.
Okay.
And one thing that 2 separate people said, it's so fun. The vibes are so high. It's so fun coming to the rink every day. So I have to give them a lot of credit, especially because, hey, that was a big transition. Backstrom's injury, no Braden Holtby. A lot of the guys that were on the Cup team were no longer there, with the exception of Ovi, really, John Carlson. And they said the dressing room has been unreal. They can't wait to get to the rink. They love the energy on the bench. There's a lot to be said for that. That's very impressive.
And that John Carlson, he better be on that Team USA.
Hey, how can he not? Jersey boy, too.
Yeah, he better be on there. He's such an underappreciated player.
So steady.
In his career.
So consistent.
Yeah.
Every game, you know what you're getting from John Carlson. Hey, listen, when John Carlson left here and then went and played in London, the OHL.
Yeah.
And he was a stud in London.
Yeah.
This guy's been for real the whole time.
Yeah.
So I've been a John Carlson guy from day one.
You know, I'll tell you
Since
what.
then.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Me too.
Because he's won a cup. Now, he hasn't won a Norris. Sometimes you get in those situations. There was one year he almost won. I think Yossi beat him out.
Yeah.
He's been nominated. But I'll tell you what, he's had a fantastic career.
Got that right.
Can't say enough good things about John Carlson, what he brings to the
Not
table.
dissimilar to Shea Weber.
Yeah. Hey,
Shea Weber getting inducted this year.
If Shea is in, I don't know why John would
That's what I mean.
I mean, he's
So
had
I could see
a longer career.
So I could see.
And he's got the Stanley Cup on his resume.
I see the parallel.
All right, let's talk about the Western Conference now. Who in the West has been that positive kind of, you can't believe, you didn't expect this?
No, but I don't want to hear anything from any of the great fans in the land of 10,000, like Brainerd and all the Lake Minnetonka. And weeks you had forgotten the Wild. No, I didn't forget the Wild.
No, you didn't.
I did not. They've been my most impressive team.
Okay, in the West.
Most surprisingly impressive team. That's not the Winnipeg Jets. Hey, you look at where they are.
Hey, they're
right
ahead
now.
of the Winnipeg
They're
Jets.
ahead of the Jets now. The
Right
Jets
now.
have lost 3 straight.
Point percentage,
Point
they're
percentage
better.
wise. And
Tied in points, but
Minnesota Wild, I didn't
One
see
less
this
game.
coming. And you know who we're going to give a hat tip to as well?
Nope.
Heinze.
yeah. John Hines has done a good job there.
John Hines has done a really good job. They seem more intense on a game-to-game, but they're also making plays. You know that's a tough balance to strike.
Yeah.
Between being intense but still having fun and making plays. Hey, they've been a lot of fun to watch. All of them. Boldy has been outstanding. Kaprizov, the Spurgeon General's healthy, and he's back making plays. And Kaprizov, for my money right now, is a Hart Trophy winner.
Look at that. I mean, and think about the Jets. They got off to that 16-1 start. Now, they've had some struggles lately. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, nobody.
Sure.
It's going to happen to the Wild at some point, too. I mean, it's a long season. But to be even in points with the Jets after the start they got off to, I mean, that is impressive. 16-4-4. They're getting great goaltending. No matter who, Gustafsson has really bounced back this year. The Flower, when he goes in there, is giving them.
You got that right. Still kicking.
Done a nice job as well. Faber continues to be a really high-end defenseman. I mean, and this is a team. When I look at him, I mean, Zuccarello's out. He's going to be out for a little bit longer time now. They're not really deep through the middle, but yet, boy, oh boy, every night they're finding ways to really compete. And I mean, to win 16 of those 24 games, to get points in 4 of the 8 games that you didn't win. Not so bad.
It's impressive. I've been very impressed, and I was in the building last year, game 82. We did the game on ESPN. They played against Seattle in Minnesota. I remember how quiet it was, and many, even more than Toronto, has more fans and friends and family and cousins and financial underneath the rink after the game. Many, by far, even more than Toronto, which is saying a lot.
That is saying a lot.
And I can tell you, being down there, those guys were devastated last year when they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Devastated. And I spent some time with a few of the guys, talked to a bunch of them.
They were sour.
They were sour. I thought Kaprizov was so upset. They just feel like they let themselves down, they let the city down, they let the fans down. And what a bounce back year it's been for their group, for their team to play the way they're playing. And I like your point. Without really a top flight, high-end center, it goes against
Rossi's
contention.
playing better.
Rossi's playing.
He's kind of finding his way.
He's starting to find
They just
his groove.
picked up David Juracek, too, in that trade with
that's right.
Columbus. We'll see how that works out for the young kid, just 21 years old. He was a high draft pick. Didn't really work for him in Columbus. He gets a fresh start in Minnesota. Think about
Bouillon, too. Bouillon
think about that D, right? If Juracek becomes a player that people thought he was going to be, you'd have Faber as your 1, then Juracek as your second right shot guy. You have Bouillon coming. You still have some guys that are playing well now. Brodin's, I mean, like, they could be building a pretty impressive defense that can be around for a while. So Washington and Minnesota, they're the big surprises in each of the 2 conferences.
100%.
All right. When we come back, how about Michkov?
Ooh.
He did it again.
I can't.
Another overtime game winner. That's 3 for Michkov. Get it on your forehand. Look at that backhand bang.
Wow.
Binnington cannot believe it. We're going to talk about the rookies next on First Shift. Well, look who it is, Rookie of the Month, the kid. Macklin Celebrini, Rookie of the Month for November from the Sharks. 7 goals, 5 assists, 12 points in the 14 games. And think about the Sharks, Weeksy. They started the season 0-7-2. Now, he played the first game and missed a bunch of time, right?
Yes, he did, yeah.
0-7-2 to start the season. Since then, 9-6-3. And they just, over the weekend, they put up an 8th spot, I think, against Seattle.
Yeah.
They're finding ways to score now. Smith is playing better, and certainly Celebrini. He looks like he just fits right in. I got to see him at the Garden against the Rangers. I thought he played very, very well. He just keeps rolling along.
I thought, you were at that game, to your point, I thought they played really well in general in that game.
Yeah,
lost only 3-2.
Yep.
But Celebrini's been so dynamic. I love the agility. I love the control on the skates, the strength on his skates, the strength on his stick. He doesn't get pushed around the rink. He can get to the interior, and he can beat goalies from distance. Look, I think of, college hockey, and a lot of my buddies, although I played junior, a lot of my buddies played college hockey over the years. And a lot of them are now coaching college hockey, including Jay Pandolfo, who coached him at BU.
That's correct.
Last year.
Yeah.
And I played with Pando with the New Jersey Devils.
Get
Love
Pando
Pando.
on one day.
We got to get Pando. We got to get you on the show. Maybe we'll talk to his wife. We'll get her. We'll get Julianne to get him in.
Get him on the show.
But she's from Jersey too. Okay,
right.
But saying all of that, when you think of all the players that have played college hockey,
Yeah.
think of the guys that have dominated. Paul Kariya. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
Jack Eichel. This guy was the youngest Hobey Baker winner ever.
Yeah.
Cale Makar won the Hobey there. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. No,
and to come into the league this quickly, one USHL, BU, San Jose Sharks, and to play the way he's played so far. And I talked about this off camera. In speaking to him, I've just been impressed with how assured he is. He's confident in himself. He's respectful, but he's assured in being on the stage.
Great demeanor.
Great demeanor, and he's got the personality to him. He doesn't seem uptight. I've just been blown away by him so far.
And the thing, I don't know if you noticed that in the clip, he uses that long stick. A lot of the younger guys use the longer stick now, and he's very effective. You can see here, point leaders among rookies, and that gets us to Matvei Michkov, because we had the good fortune of doing the game that the Flyers had against the Chicago Blackhawks a couple weeks back when he scored in overtime, game winner. He's got 3 overtime game winners already.
It's unreal.
In his career.
It's unreal.
And here he is on Saturday against the Philadelphia Flyers, off to the races. Look at Biddington's reaction. He is just so sour.
For sure.
He's like, I have him.
Yeah.
And then just look at that play. Oh.
And that's a power backhand, too. It's not like he just flicks it.
Yeah.
He flicks it, and watch the power of the stick and the follow-through.
Yeah.
Like, he almost stuffs it.
Yeah.
He brings it into him. It's not just he just flicks it over him.
Yeah.
This kid's been awesome as well. And wanting the puck and wanting to make a difference and being able to make it. Same thing, only 17 minutes time on ice.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And we saw the game against against Chicago.
Yeah,
he's not
had the
playing.
game
He's
on
not
the air.
playing with Konechny. I mean,
Correct.
he's playing.
On third line to start
third
the
line.
game.
Then they use him in the power play
Great point by you.
situations and in overtime. But yeah, he is just he wants it. And the other thing, he crashed into those boards.
Yeah.
Right. In that goal against St. Louis,
Yeah.
didn't look like it bothered him at all. He's
Nope.
just he's built like a tank.
And I have to say this too. A few different things here. Number one,
Look at that one from the bad
I
angle.
love that one. That one on Allmark. It helps. The Flyers, I'm going to give them a lot of credit because they have done a good job of investing and having people in and around him to help him feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So huge hats off to Jonesy and Danny Briere.
Yeah, John Tortorella.
And Torts and getting the group.
The whole staff.
Getting
there.
him over here because I know what it entailed to get him over here. Then having his mom here, having his brother here. I understand his brother's playing soccer in the Philly area. They have the interpreter.
Yeah.
There's another skills coach that's there, skating/skills coach. So you're also, and the guys love him. It's not dissimilar to when Kaprizov came over in Mini. Quickly, he really endeared himself to the guys. The guys have really taken to him.
Yeah.
And so too have the fans just down the turnpike in Philly. So this is a great story for the league as much as it is a great story for the Flyers.
Yeah, no question. Fun to watch.
Yes.
Fun
Yes,
to
it's
watch.
so fun
We're
to
lucky
watch.
to get to call that game.
Yes.
I got one more for you, and I gotta have a goalie with you here.
Sure.
How about Dustin Wolf? I mean, and he's one of these kids you root for,
Yes.
right? Because he wasn't a high draft pick, despite the fact he had great numbers in junior, he had great numbers in the American League. He's not the biggest guy. You know how it is now. If you're 6 foot, you're apparently too small to play goal.
Yeah, like the net change.
Yeah, right. And he has been terrific. You saw the numbers there. He's 6th in save percentage in the league at .918. He's had a great start to the season.
He's had an awesome start to the season, and it's been a really long road for him being a California kid. And that road that is. That's not as easy as playing youth hockey in Michigan or Boston or Toronto.
And he played in the Western
places.
Hockey League, right?
And then going to the Dub.
Yeah.
A 2-time goalie of the year there.
Yep.
like Carter Hart was,
Yeah.
2-time AHL Goalie of the Year,
Yep.
and now he's in the National Hockey League playing there in Calgary and playing the way he's played. I've been very impressed. In certain ways, he doesn't play as wide as UC Saros does, but he's a little narrow, a little tighter. But he has a lot of UC Saros in his game. I've been very impressed with Dustin Wolf. You know, Pat Brisson represents him, and he told me about him years ago, prior to World Junior, and said, in California, this is one of the young guys that we always wanted to have on our team.
Yeah.
And he was up in NorCal, and the other guys were in SoCal, and they want him as a part of their team. This kid is he's been very impressive. It's hard to do that as a young goalie, man.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the Wolf man up there.
Yeah, I'm happy for him because like people wonder, can he play? He's getting the opportunity. And he's succeeding.
That's right. Opening some eyes for some scouts, each to your point.
We got a great class of rookies this year.
We do.
So look forward to watching them continue. Stan Colvin, a bunch of others. It's been a fun year for the rookies around the NHL. When we come back, we're going to take a quick peek at these Four Nations teams that'll be announced on Wednesday. U.S., Canada, Sweden, and Finland. Swedes and Finns will be announced right here on the network. We'll talk Four Nations next on First Shift. Big news coming up on Wednesday. The roster reveal show is coming up. The Four Nations face-off will be playing in February. But there it is. Wednesday, 2 p.m. right here on the NHL Network. The Finnish and Swedish rosters, the full rosters, will be announced. And then on Wednesday, TNT, 6:30, Sportsnet in Canada, USA, Canada, you can see there the rosters. So really looking forward to see... I know I've been going to games and I've been seeing the managers of the different countries there, focusing on the players, trying to figure out who they want to take. It's a tough assignment because you're naming your full roster now. These games aren't until February. So guys could fall off a little bit between then. Guys could get injured, which will open the door for others. And you know that's going to happen at least to somebody, right? So they've been taking it all in. And like each team already has 6 players on their roster.
Correct.
Because they were already announced in the run-up. You can see here's Canada and the U.S. See Canada, obviously, Crosby, McKinnon, Marchand, McDavid, Point, McCarr. U.S., Eichel, Matthews, Kachuk, Fox, Hughes, and McAvoy. And, you know, I'll bring up a point about Fox and McAvoy. Now, those guys are really terrific players. Neither of them has been really great so far this year. Now, it's a long season. I think both those guys, the sample size, they'll find their way.
Sure.
But, you know, if they weren't already named, there's a lot of good options for Team USA on defense. So it does change the dynamic. In that case, for Team USA, I believe Sweden has Erik Karlsson on the roster. It's been a little struggle for Erik Karlsson this year. So it's going to be interesting to see. There you can see the Swedes and the Finns and who they have named. It's going to be interesting to see who these teams choose to fill out those rosters.
It is going to be interesting to see who they use to fill out the rosters. And I think ultimately, for a lot of the players that I've spoken to, in addition to some of the managers that will be managing or part of the staff and or coaches. I remember talking to John Cooper about this a little while ago, spoken to a bunch of other people that are a part of the brain trust of their team in the Four Nations. Nobody's out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
Now, to the guys that have already been named, we know, as we just showed you on the board, okay.
They're there.
For some of the other guys that are about to be named, but hey, injury could change a whole thing. Heaven forbid. Injury changes the whole thing. Maybe somebody that you had on the board, as some of them told me, hey, we have, player X on the board. They might not be in the bullseye right now, but we have them on the board. All of a sudden, hey, somebody goes down. Well, we had somebody projected higher than them that we might have already named, but now we're going to bring there's a lot of different dynamics here at play. So this is what makes it so unique, especially the fact that it's happening in the season. If you recall, World Cup of Hockey up in Toronto in 2016.
Yeah, it was in September.
It was in September. So this makes it very unique. And also, here's the other thing. The coaches and the brain trust, the manager, they're also looking at an eye on the Olympics as well.
The following February.
The following February, the Winter Olympics in Italy. So it makes it very intriguing all the way around. And the decision-making, there have been a lot of conversations, and they're continuing, ongoing, and there will be right up until the tournament. And in some cases, right even during the tournament. Yeah, and I just wanted to honor the Finns by putting on the Teemu Selanne. I wanted to give you the other side of the jacket, because that's so sweet.
It's reversible. I like, for an older guy like me, I'm less about having the all the
fire.
pitchers, right?
That's
younger
fire.
guys, probably
Yeah,
great, you
sure.
know. But I think it's just a nice look.
It's so clean.
Really nice. Anyway, for the teams,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And the Finns, the Swedes, the U.S., Canada. When you're picking players for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to find pieces that fit. That's the thing that I'll be curious about.
Yeah.
Who are the one or two guys on each of these teams that we didn't think was going to be on the team, but is on the team for a particular reason, for a particular role, face-offs or penalty killing or shutdown type guys? That's what I'll be curious about.
The main curiosity that I have right now is for Team Canada's goalies.
Yeah.
And you've heard me say it here in the studio. You've heard me say it in the other studio here.
Yeah.
The best Canadian goalie that's 10-1-1 right now is Logan Thompson.
Yeah.
So whether they came into the season with him
On the board.
or kind of just on the periphery of the board, but the way he's played, there hasn't been a better Canadian-born goalie in the league. Cam Talbot's been excellent as well. I know he got dinged up in Detroit the other night, but he's been excellent too. But there's an example who might not have been on the
radar.
The radar as such.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know how he hasn't played his way on the team.
Yeah.
Tom Wilson, another one.
Yeah.
For Team Canada, won a Stanley Cup, as did Logan Thompson.
He'd be on Team Canada for me.
He'd be on my team any day, every day.
No question.
He can skate. He can hit. The games are being played. The tournament's being played here in North America.
Yeah.
On NHL ice and NHL rinks.
Listen, I don't care if.
And he plays with Ovi. Ovi wants to play with him. What does that tell you?
I'll tell you what. I don't care if the games were on the moon.
Me too. No, me too.
Tom Wilson.
You're right. No.
You're in straight lines. He's a big man. He has some skill.
Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, he kills penalties. He does a lot of things. So he would definitely be part of it for me.
I agree.
As for the goalie for Canada, I'm just rolling with Aiden Hill, and then we'll go from there. Maybe have the two teammates, Aiden Hill and Thompson.
Maybe it's
from
him
Vegas.
and Bennington.
And there you go. All right, last thing. We got Dallas and Utah tonight. There's 3 games on the docket: Toronto and Chicago, Dallas and Utah. Stars with a big win over the Jets.
That was
last
massive
night, right?
yesterday. That was a massive win. Now, they can't have a letdown because Utah's perky.
Congrats to Vegas the other night, Utah.
6-0 or whatever it was. And Jackson Stauber, Rob Stauber's son.
Great story.
Awesome. And I like Jackson Stauber in Chicago as well. He was playing in the American League down in Rockford. And now Utah has him there. I did a game for ESPN. I was very impressed with him. So I think he has some upside there.
Yeah, first shutout.
First shutout.
In Utah,
welcome
hockey
to the National.
Give him a
welcome to the National.
There it is.
Take it away, Eej.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a good day. I got a new jacket. You got one too.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Gretzky one, so that's beautiful. I got my Solane. It's been a great day. No show tomorrow. So we'll see you on Wednesday.
Agent?
NHL Now.
Who's his agent,
Hey, Ray
people?
Bork is on NHL Now. Stay tuned.